Just because there's nothing new happening, doesn't mean there's nothing new to see. Greetings and salutations listeners and Dream SMP members, and welcome back to Radio SMP. Let's start this week with good news, as opposed to last week's bad news. Funnily enough, or well, ironically enough, they do have to do with each other, given that, Tommy in it is back, alive. He died and is alive now. Reports say that he left prison around Monday to Tuesday, and he's been roaming around the server ever since then. Having been seen in Snowchester, Dream SMP, around the Badlands, and yeah, I'm sorry, this is just... So, at least we know now that the revival book that Dream said he has, and which just makes it even more impossible to, well, get rid of him. I mean, how else should we get people back from the dead now? I mean, of course, there's still the thing with foolish gamers, but we don't know yet, and after what happened it's just really confusing right now, I guess. Even for me, and I'm trying to give you the best possible neutral outlook on everything. Yeah, quite frankly, it's also quite a bit shocking. I mean, there are just so many questions now. How was it? What was it like to die? Or what was it like to get resurrected? How was the afterlife? What was the afterlife? Were there other people like, Schlatt and Wilbur and Mexican Dream? Were there anyone? Or was there anyone? Or were there... So many questions left unanswered. It's just... I wish I could just interview him about it, but what Eyewitness said, he's pretty shaken up about it. I mean, I would be too, given I die under scary circumstances and then get resurrected under even more scary circumstances and overall just be confused, and at least we know now what he's up to. Given that the vandalization in McPuffy's on the Prime Path, he was also spotted building a tower right across the prison for reasons we can only speculate about. I mean, what does he think about, or what are his plans now that he's out of prison? I mean, he's probably got the best glimpse of how Dream works by now, and does he want to break him out, or what does he want? Or, well, given that he flung around that he wants to kill him, is this all an elaborate plan to, kill him? Or maybe even something completely different? Well, listeners, I am here to present you facts and knowledge, as you know, and the only thing I can say about that is that he's been spotted building this tower. In companionship with Tobo and Ranbu, of course, but also unexpectedly Connor Eats Pants, and someone we thought we wouldn't see as much anymore, because the friendly ghost from our neighborhood is back. That's right, listeners. Ghostbur is back again! I mean, after he somehow died and became Ghostbur, well, at least he wasn't spotted around gyms or protein bar shops or weightlifting or cigars or anything like that, so we can assume that Glatt is out of his system by now. And that is great news, isn't it? Well, I can't wait for Ghostbur to get back into action, with, maybe finding new friends, or being there for his old friends, or just in general be hopping around the server and being an overall positive outlook on life again, even though he's a ghost. And already died 2 times as a ghost. But you know what, listeners? This is a topic for another discussion that I am not willing to start up because I'm just so happy that Ghostbur is back. I mean, aren't you? Ghostbur is so sweet and kind and nice. And now we know that Tommy won't be alone anymore. Now he has Ghostbur. Isn't that great, listeners? I really hope that they can bond again. Also that Tommy and Tubbo can bond again. After Tommy was gone for so long, I just hope everything pans out again in the end. You know, before probably the Agpio will strike and conquer everything left on the Greater Dream SMP and Snowchester and reach the Arctic, or before Technoblade attacks any other governmental form. Oh no! Would he really dare to attack King Ered? I mean, he is a king after all, and from what I've heard, he wasn't even allowed on the premise because, you know, he's a king. A gorgeous king, but still a king. And as far as I know, that's a position on a hierarchy. Really high up on the hierarchy. And you know, anarchy is kind of the opposite to that, and we've seen Technoblade trying to assassinate King George before. Oh, listeners, now I'm getting concerned. Listeners, let's just hope nothing bad happens, okay? Not to King Ered, not to anything at all, and especially the members of the Dream SMP, and of course also you, dear listeners. I hope you stay safe in dangerous times like these, where war seems right on the footstep. On the topic of safety, listeners, I have the tea for you. I heard that the Quackity, after being gone for around some months, ever since L'Manberg blew up, was seen again more frequently, talking to, for example, a little big fella with the name Awesome Dude, and shortly after that was seen entering the prison. Well, I don't know what he was doing in there, but there were reported screams after he entered, and they stopped before he left, just to vanish again into a mysterious, well, okay, not that mysterious, given that in the morning, the remains of El Rapids were gone. The billboard was gone, everything was gone. There were no reportings of TNT explosions anywhere, so Big Q Quackity just demolished El Rapids overnight by himself, which just leads to the questions of what he's been doing, or what he will be doing, or what he has planned in general. Though, I must admit, ever since the first time he has been visiting Dream in parentheses, he was seen every day in the prison ever since then. Well, we'll have to see how that will work out in the future, but for now, as far as my sources can tell, they have seen him every day at the gates of the prison, going in for an hour or two, coming out, and then going on his merry way again into the, well, wherever he's been. And, well, this just leads further question to what he has been doing, especially what is his connection with Dream all of a sudden. Dear listeners, one thing I can promise you. I am just as curious as you are to the answer to those questions. And so long my name is Adrian Hollers, and so long I am your radio host, I will do my best to keep you updated on anything new on that matter. On any matter for that matter, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee yet. But maybe we'll get to that. after the break.
Welcome to the Temple of Undying. If you don't like it, you'd be lying. This place is really off the grid. There's my giant pyramid.
Wow.
The sandy dune that I roam is where I call my summer home. I've got the spirit of rock. Leave you folks in awe. All the lore can get old. Come chill in the heat away from the cold. I don't care what they say. I can bring you back from the dead. Don't worry about my short facade, 'cause you're looking at the Totem God. Totem God. With my son Junior in my hand, my friends and I explore this vast land. I'm the best builder, I'm aware. I thought all of you could just compare. Even my papa puffin knows that your building skills don't even come close. But please, this is all I beg. Get me far away from that blood red egg. All the lore can get old. Come chill in the heat away from the cold. I don't care what they said. I can bring you back from the dead. Don't worry about this short facade, 'cause you're looking at the Totem God. Whoa, I'm the freaking Totem God. There's no one that I don't like except Bat and Ant. They can take a hike, so call me up when you're stuck. I'll build you a new house for a buck. I've got character development, I swear, but in the end, I can share. I'm not the one who makes the call. Besides, when I'm looking at the wall,
Did I really spend 10 hours in front of a wall of bricks?
all the lore can get old. Come chill in the heat away from the cold. I don't care what they say. I can bring you back from the dead. Don't worry about this short facade, 'cause you're looking at the Totem God.
And we're back. You've just listened to Totem God by RoyalHarmony. I have got my fresh cup of coffee here. And on with the news. Given that it was a rather peaceful week, there are some little things that have happened. Little in the grand scheme of things. For example, lovely King Arid has worked on his museum. That's right, listeners. He is currently in the building process of a little exhibition for every Dream SMP member there is or was, with a gallery obtaining every one of the around 30 members of the Dream SMPs, guests included. He is currently working out a little plan on how to show off every member there was, whether they are for him, against him, or neutral towards him. He is planning to give them a little exhibit place, gallery space, to archive them. On further notice, the community house blew up again. This time it was an accident though, and not the start of or cause of any following wars. We all hope. Surprisingly, Captain Puffy admitted fairly fast that she was the culprit behind this. And to quote from her as to why she did it, quote, "There were a few factors. One, she's like a child and there was a button. And she knew if it wasn't her, it was somebody else. And that is true, somebody else would have hit the button. And two, she also just kind of wasn't happy with how it turned out, and so she was like, oh, she'd rebuild." I'm sorry, listeners, I can't keep a straight face with that. I mean, come on. Also, as far as rumors go, there was this 50-50% chance that there was infinite wealth, and at the end it was just one diamond, so... And, come on, she was going to rebuild it anyway, so... Now she has a good reason to, as far as we're concerned. Well, and as far as more collateral damage goes, there were some billboards destroyed in the process, but nothing a few little blocks can handle. Except this very expensive wall from Foolish Gamers, I believe, but I do believe that his sponsors are more than ready if they've already paid so much for one wall. They wouldn't be so disappointed to pay a bit more for a second, better and bigger wall. And here we are again, listeners, nearing the end of the episode of this week. Now, we at the station here haven't received any mail in our inbox whatsoever of maybe you'd want this history corner or not, so I'm guessing this as please don't do it. But we're still open for any opinions whatsoever. But until then, I think, out of my personal preferences, I would like to make a little gossip corner over here, as I like to spill and sip some tea while I talk about it. And, well, maybe this does give some clues in what's happening on the SMP so far. I mean, to be quite honest, I've heard that Glat was seen on the SMP in tow with Quackity on a rainy night. If that isn't romantic for old partners. As far as I've heard, they were married once when Glat was J-Schlatt and still alive. And before he got betrayed by Quackity, but wasn't Quackity, like, in a throuple relationship with Sapnap and Carl Jacobs? These are just some juicy details and questions that I've been asking myself, and, well, I would like to talk about this more, but not for now. I've been talking for way too long at this point when I look at the clock, in my opinion. And before I get started on all of that, I would still like to get your humble opinion, dear listeners. So please, the inbox of the station is still open, and just write down in the comments what you'd like to hear from us. Would it be a history corner or a juicy little tea corner over here? I prefer the later one, but you can choose whatever you'd like. And with that, we are most definitely at the end of this week's episode. As soon as I get off, I will definitely put myself into more research, but for now, it's stay tuned, dear listeners. This was Radio SMP. I am your host, Adrian, and I bid you all a farewell.